Hi everybody, my name is Ashton Mora and I'm a product marketing manager here at Meta covering e-commerce solutions. And I'm excited to be here today and talk about how Meta can help you drive holiday momentum by winning hearts and boosting carts. But before we dive in, I wanted to set the stage and talk about the scale of seasonal moments. Seasonal moments are not just a niche play, but they represent a staggering $1.2 trillion in global e-commerce sales. And this accounts for about 42% of all digital retail revenue. So how do winning brands actually stay ahead of the curve? It's not about bigger budgets, but it's about smarter planning. The data shows a clear advantage for proactive brands. Those who initiate their seasonal planning more than 10 weeks in advance achieve a 2.4 times higher return on ad spend compared to those who just start 4 weeks before. So if you're not thinking about the upcoming holiday season yet, you're not behind, but we're getting close. Our goal today is to prepare you with the resources and recommendations to help you drive success this holiday season and beyond. And to help you build those plans, I want to thank partners like Kargo. We all know that the media planning journey is complicated, it's resource intensive, and it's time consuming. And that's where partners come into play. Advertisers can connect to a network of Meta partners, including Kargo, with a wide range of specialties vetted by Meta as trusted partners, with a proven track record of driving increases in revenue year on year. And now that we've set the stage for the opportunity ahead of us, I want to focus on 4 key pillars to unlock performance and shoppable experiences during the upcoming holiday season. Pillar 1, unify your data, because AI is only as good as the signals it receives. Pillar 2, co-create relevant, shoppable experiences to make your ads feel easy, personal, and intuitive. Pillar 3, convert inspiration into sales everywhere, because 80% of your revenue still comes from physical stores. And Pillar 4, measure what matters, because you can't invest confidently unless you can prove out your results. Each of these pillars addresses a specific tension you're facing today, and together they form a complete system for AI-enabled growth across Meta technologies. Now, we're going to dive into each of these pillars. First, let's start with the foundation, your data. Success in the next era of commerce depends on recognizing and responding to shopper needs before they've even fully expressed it. That requires a data foundation that connects every signal, online, offline, and most importantly, your product data. So what's the role of product data in this new world of AI? You're likely already familiar with Advantage Plus catalog ads. This is our bread and butter solution where rich, optimized product data has been delivering some of the most valuable, personalized ad experiences in the industry. But now, there's a major shift underway. What does it mean when a creator or an AI agent is helping your customer shop? This is where AI optimal product data has gone from optional to a necessity. It's the foundational backbone to our shoppable ecosystem, and the key to showing up on your terms everywhere your customers are. And when you add products to Meta, you activate AI-enabled product intelligence that creates uniquely personalized experiences across every surface: ads, creator content, business messaging, agentic discovery, and AI-enabled checkout. The richer the data, the deeper the personalization, and the better your results are going to be. And to win in this landscape, your product data has to do more than just exist. It has to work. Here are the 3 ways to make that happen with AI. First, we break down the barriers between shopping experiences, formats, and creative. Your catalog powers all of those different components. Second, we maximize performance with richer data, which means our automation our automation and personalization engines can work harder for you. And third, we're using automation to simplify that setup for the campaigns, so your teams can move faster and focus on what matters most. And once you have your product data structured and ready to go, the next step is creating relevant shoppable experiences. Creating relevant shoppable experiences means that making your ads feel easy, personal, and intuitive. The challenge for businesses is to deliver this level of personalization without losing your brand voice and trust, as that's crucial for long-term growth. Our approach allows you to retain ownership of your story while leveraging AI at scale. The best way to drive this and engage in personalized creative at scale is to integrate product video into your catalog. Ad sets with catalog product video saw 20% more conversions per dollar spent compared to ad sets without catalog product video. This approach allows you to maximize your current video investment across placements, reaching high-value customers with high-performing, tailored content. To optimize your results, we recommend prioritizing video assets for products that generate the highest volume of ad impressions. Think best sellers. This method ensures that the products most likely to be delivered have the opportunity to deliver as either video or static, depending on what's most performant for the actual consumer. And to get started with catalog product video, it just requires 2 steps. First, you add video assets to your commerce manager. Second, at the ad level, you toggle Allow Product Video, and this allows Meta to deliver the most relevant product and the most relevant product creative to the right audience at the right time, whether it's video or static. Now, I also want to say that we've heard the feedback. There's a lot of, it could be frustrating to upload video for all the different content within your product catalog. And now we have you covered with a wide range of different solutions available. To help out, we've outlined several different ways to source out video creatives for your catalog. You can upload existing product videos from your store. You can leverage creator content from brand collaborations. You can source user-generated video from your community, or you could use Meta's video generation tools. And beyond these in-house solutions that we provide, we could also work with a Meta business partner like Kargo for professional creative support. The key here is that you don't need to start from scratch, and we have plenty of resources available to help you out. And to close out this section, I want to mention that we have some great news for you. You can actually generate and source high-quality product videos at scale using automated solutions like the product video generation tool that we just launched. Built directly into Commerce Manager, this tool allows advertisers to produce templatized product videos at scale. You maintain complete control with customizable templates, ensuring every video automatically looks and feels on brand. You can use a recipe like this one from Pandora, where they used existing brand assets as an intro and outro video, and they used their existing static product images as that interstitial in the middle. By using a template like this, they were able to generate up to 10,000 videos at scale in just under 30 minutes using existing assets. This is a game changer. Next, I want to talk about how businesses are maximizing sales where it matters most, whether it's online, offline, or in a physical store just 10 minutes from your shopper's home. Our omnichannel solutions are designed to help advertisers navigate these complexities head-on. With omnichannel shoppers making up to 91% of retail consumers and shopping 70% more often, these campaigns capture more demand and increase store sales. 3 capabilities make this work. First, you expand your universe of shoppers by connecting channels online and offline. Second, you automatically allocate budget towards the most likely purchase path for each shopper, whether that's online or offline. And third, pickup overlays highlight items available for local pickup, encouraging shoppers to purchase online and pick up in store, really bridging that digital and physical divide in real time. And beyond the optimization, there's also a slew of creative features that help you drive stronger offline sales. With store location features guiding shoppers to the store nearest them, local inventory ads, which showcase relevant local inventory, pricing, and availability, and digital circulars, which use video or the collection formats, and they expand into the showcase format that showcase local offers and products. And here's the best kept secret in retail. Q5, which is the time period after the last ship date in December, is one of the most important parts of the holiday season. When you look at last year's data, CPMs fell to their lowest level in the entire season, and CPAs dropped below pre-Cyber 5 levels. Why is this happening? Less auction competition as bigger brands pull back because of shipping deadlines. But the consumer intent is still high. People are spending on gift cards, self-gifting, making returns, and starting their New Year's purchases. This is your efficiency sweet spot, and this is a place that you should be planning to invest as you move forward. And while online retail is still growing, 80% of purchases still happen in store. Omnichannel ads drive more sales and greater efficiency. Advertisers using them saw 15% lower median offline cost per incremental conversion and a 21% higher median ROAS. So if you're a retailer, this should be an investment this holiday season. And now that we've talked about unifying your data, creating relevant experiences, and converting inspiration into sales everywhere, the last section is focused on establishing a measurement strategy that gives you confidence to invest. We recommend a triangulated approach to measurement, using granular data for speed and holistic models for budget allocation. No single measurement method tells the whole story, but together they can give you confidence. The first pillar is campaign optimization, real-time signals to optimize campaign performance, creative assets, and audience targeting day to day. This includes features like A/B testing and brand, store, product level reporting. It also answers the question, what's working right now? The second pillar is incremental validation, which are scientific experiments that prove causality, measuring the sales that would not have happened without the ad. This includes different tools like the conversion lift tool, and it really answers the question, did the ad actually cause the sale, or is the sale going to happen otherwise? And then the third pillar is strategic planning, cross-channel modeling to understand how Meta contributes to your total business growth alongside other media and other channels. The solutions here are marketing mix models, cross-channel attribution, and it answers the question, how should I allocate my budget? Now, I'm not going to walk through this slide in detail because it's unique for every single advertiser, but regardless of the mix of measurement tools you use, building a long-term testing roadmap should follow the same principles. You got to build out the testing journey in phases, ensuring contextual interpretation of the results at each stage to make the better decision on your next test or on the campaign mix and investment. If you need help with this journey, please reach out to your Meta rep, and we're happy to support you along the way. So to close us out, I have 3 key takeaways to remember. First, AI is the new foundation, and Meta's technology powers the full journey. Second, our playbook turns omnichannel complexity into your competitive advantage. And third, we are your partner for what is now and what is next. The distance between discovery and purchase is collapsing, and we're building the platform where it happens. Now, with that said, I'm going to pass it over to Alana, who is going to cover our next section.
Hi, everyone. I am Alana Kopelson. I am Director of Platform Partnerships here at Kargo. We just heard from Ashton about Meta, about some of the products and solutions that brands can use to win this holiday season. So what I would like to do is build upon that story and also share a few trends and insights that we're seeing across retail and performance marketing, and really showcase how brands are using both Meta and Kargo together to turn those trends into measurable business outcomes. Awesome. So one trend that's becoming increasingly clear is that the holiday journey isn't getting shorter, it's just getting more complex. And Meta talked about consumers using more touch points and discovery channels before purchase. And so what we're seeing is that consumers are also becoming significantly more deliberate in how they make those decisions. So more than 40% of shoppers say that they're more price sensitive than they were years ago. Nearly a third are planning their purchases earlier, and then many are comparing more retailers, researching products more carefully before they actually make that purchase. So that means success isn't just about reaching these consumers during those peak moments, but it's about staying relevant throughout a much longer decision-making process. And this longer purchase journey creates another challenge. Consumers aren't just moving between media channels anymore, they're moving between both digital and physical commerce environments constantly. Across nearly every category here, shoppers are increasingly blending their online and in-store experiences. So that means that measuring e-com alone is becoming less reliable as a proxy for total business impact. And the brands that will win this holiday season are the ones that combine both their online media investment to both their online and offline outcomes, and then bringing those signals directly into their creative experiences. So everything I've touched on so far really points to a growing gap. Consumers are researching more, the purchase journeys are longer, shopping is increasingly omnichannel, and then AI is introducing entirely new discovering behaviors. So how do brands respond to that? We think that there are 3 areas that matter most, and that is first, connected feeds and signals, second, diversified creative and media, and then third, measurement and automation. And so the rest of the presentation today, I will touch on those 3 pillars. Everything starts and begins with data. And as I'm sure a lot of you know, brands today have access to so much data, whether that's product feeds, inventory, store sales data, pricing information, loyalty signals, and CRM data. The challenge isn't about collecting the data, but it's about connecting it and then activating it. And I think this is a really great way where Kargo can come in to help with that. We offer easy integration, a range of different feed customization services to help manage all of that data for you. And then when those signals work together, your campaigns can become smarter, your creative becomes more relevant, and then your optimization becomes more effective as well. So bringing together omnichannel strategy starts with connecting the right signals. It's not just your online activity, but it is that local inventory, that pricing, that CRM data, and then the offline signals that will then help the platforms make smarter optimization decisions. And then the second piece is creative. So those signals need to show up in the experiences that consumers see. So whether that's highlighting local inventory, delivery options, promotions, or just products that are most relevant to them. And then finally, the last piece is actually campaign activation. And the most successful brands aren't treating omnichannel as a one-time holiday tactic. They're testing, they're learning, and they're building, and then integrating a long-term optimization strategy that will then drive both online and in-store outcomes. One of the biggest challenges that we see brands face today is that many of their most valuable signals never make it back to the platform that they're optimizing against. So for example, if someone sees an ad on Meta, but then they make the purchase in store, that conversion often isn't captured through the pixel alone. So this creates both a gap in measurement and optimization, and then that's where OCAPI comes in. With OCAPI, you can connect those offline sales and CRM data back to Meta, and then brands can optimize towards their total business outcomes, not just those online conversions. Working at Kargo, we help brands ingest and activate those offline signals and really help them create a more complete view of performance. And then beyond measurement itself, those signals can also be used to identify the top performing products, uncover regional store trends, and then inform the creative in your media strategies going forward. And this is what that looks like in practice. Kargo partnered with a leading apparel retailer to test Meta's omnichannel strategy. They tested it against just their BAU conversion setup. And by incorporating both of their online and off-store sales, Meta was able to optimize towards a more complete picture of their business. And this campaign delivered a 19% increase in ROAS, a 21% reduction in CPMs, and then an 8% lift in conversion rates. And signals are only part of this equation. So once your platforms know who to reach, the creative is going to become that lever that determines whether consumers actually engage. And one theme that we heard repeatedly from Ashton in his presentation before is that creative is becoming one of the most important performance levers that is available to performance marketers. And we completely agree with that. But one thing that we're seeing across campaigns is that creative volume and creative diversity are not the same thing. So adding more assets to your campaigns doesn't necessarily lead to an improvement in performance, but adding more concepts and more formats and more creative ideas usually does. So the best performing brands are ones that are testing different messages, different audience angles, and then different reasons to engage, not simply just creating multiple versions of the same ad. And then when we talk about creative diversity, we're not talking about creating hundreds of completely different assets from scratch. We're really talking about building these flexible creative systems that you can then adapt across different audiences, different products, different placements, different seasonal moments. And these are just some examples of creatives that Kargo has built across a variety of different brands, different verticals. And then, it starts with that one creative foundation that you can scale into many different personalized experiences. And I think that's becoming increasingly important as video continues to be one of the strongest drivers of engagement across platforms. And the challenge that we're seeing isn't just creating more content, but it's creating more relevant content, efficiently. And that's where that scalable creative is really going to become a competitive advantage. And one of the ways that we're helping brands do that is through dynamic catalog product video on Meta. So instead of manually producing hundreds of assets, brands can transform a single creative concept or template into hundreds of personalized video experiences without that heavy production lift. You can have your product info, your pricing, your promotions, location signals, all of that. You can have that in your creative, and then we can have it update dynamically within the video. The result is more relevant creative, less creative fatigue, which then leads to stronger ad performance. And this slide illustrates how that process works on Kargo. So your products will flow in directly from the catalog. The brand assets are then layered in. Automation will handle all of the formatting, the personalization, adding music, adding animation. And then the result is then a scalable system that then allows brands to move faster while still maintaining that creative quality. And another major opportunity that we're seeing is actually scaling creator partnerships, creator content with Meta partnership ads. So consumers are becoming increasingly, trusting and reliant on creator recommendations, but brands often struggle to connect that creator content directly back into their commerce outcomes. And Meta has really done a great job creating opportunities for brands to work more, efficiently and effectively with creators. But we're seeing is the next evolution to that, and that is actually connecting that creator content back directly to their products within the catalog. So pairing partnership ads with CPV is really the next evolution of how we see creator content continue to scale. And that really allows brands to combine that authenticity of a creator with the personalization of your commerce signals from your catalog. And we're seeing CPV really deliver meaningful results for brands. So Primark partnered with Kargo to test dynamic CPV. They saw a 145% increase in click-through rate, and then also reducing cost per reach by 36%. So this is a really great example of what happens when creative relevance and automation work hand in hand. Great. So Meta spoke earlier about how AI is transforming both the consumer experience and the in the advertising ecosystem. And I think what's really interesting about that is that how quickly that behavior is already showing up in shopping journeys. So consumers are already using AI today to research products, compare prices, discover new brands, and then evaluate their options. So I think the question for brands becomes, how do you ensure that your products and creative are discoverable in those environments? And at Kargo, we're really investing heavily in helping brands navigate that future. So Kara is a vision for our agentic AI platform that simplifies and activates decision making. And the goal is simple, and it's to reduce complexity for our advertisers. So Kara allows marketers to leverage the best signals, audiences, formats, and inventory automatically. And then they'll spend less time executing and then more time driving growth. So one of the biggest obstacles that we're seeing isn't strategy, it's actually the operations. Social moves really fast. Consumer behavior is moving even faster. And I'm sure many of the brands in this room can relate. The creative workflows are surprisingly very manual still. So this gap is creating a lot of significant pressure on marketing teams. And that's exactly the problem that Kargo's Kit solution was built to solve. So rather than rebuilding your assets for every platform, every placement, you can actually connect your existing operating systems like Google Sheets, Google Drive, API connections, et cetera, and then your teams can create a campaign once and scale across all platforms. So this result is just faster execution, easier scaling, and then a workflow that's ready for the next generation of AI marketing. Awesome. And our philosophy behind Kit is to allow flexibility. We want our brands to work with the systems that they already use. We want to support existing workflows and then scale across platforms. And we also want to remain as adaptable as these AI capabilities continue to evolve. So the goal is automation that feels practical rather than disruptive to your teams. And this translates directly into operational efficiency. So your teams can move from product feeds and creative assets to live campaigns in minutes instead of hours. And that means teams have fewer manual tasks, faster launches, and more time spent actually optimizing performance. And using this workflow, we've seen direct impact for our clients already. We work with DirecTV and Starcom, and they needed faster, more scalable creative personalization across both their social and digital video. But their manual trafficking really slowed launch and limited testing. So they leveraged our kit technology to really automate that creative delivery, speed up approvals, test more in real time. And this resulted in a 40% faster campaign activation. They were able to test over 1,200 creative variations. And then in turn, this led to fewer errors, greater precision, and more importantly, their teams were able to spend more time focused on strategy instead of that execution. Awesome. I know I just talked for a long time, but if there's one thing I'd leave you all with today is that winning this holiday season isn't about just one single tactic. It's about connecting those signals, their creative and automation, into one system. Signals is going to help the platform optimize smarter. The creative is helping the platform connect with consumers more effectively, and then the AI is helping brands scale both faster than ever before. So the brands that combine all three are going to be the ones that unlock the greatest performance advantage this holiday season. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to introduce Tret, who is VP of Platform Partnerships here at Kargo. And he's going to lead an amazing panel that is going to bring together different perspectives from the industry and really talk about what it takes to win this holiday season.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tret Johnson. I'm going to lead our panel with our friends at Meta and Loxton. So I would like to invite Ashton and Selena back on stage. And as we previously heard from Ashton, I would like to let Selena briefly introduce herself before we kick off with some questions.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Selena, and I am the manager of digital marketing at Loxton in Provence. I know no one knows how to pronounce it, but that is how you pronounce it. I'm very excited to be here with you all.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. And thank you, Ashton, again for joining us. So today's topic is, obviously getting ready for the holidays and some of the industry changes alongside new advancements from Meta, like the AI technologies and CPV. So with that, I just wanted to start with our first question, where with $1.2 trillion in global e-commerce revenue tied to these seasonal moments, and 42% of the annual digital revenue concentrated in these seasonal windows, how are each of you thinking about the holiday season differently this year? And let's start with you, Selena.
Yeah, so for us, we've realized that holiday planning starts much earlier than it has over the past few years. So historically, we've always been focused on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But now consumer discovery has started much earlier. As you can see, there's advent calendars being sold in September, even in August. So it's coming out even earlier and earlier every year. So what we're doing to address this is we're investing earlier in video, UGC, product storytelling to build that awareness and demand before that consideration and conversion phase starts. So those early touch points for us help us build our audiences and engagement signals that Meta then leverages later on as we shift to those conversion-focused campaigns. So overall, our goal is not just to win Black Friday, but it's to get our brand to be top of mind ahead of time and make sure that we're learning everything we can beforehand.
Awesome. And Ashton, what's changed with Meta's perspective on holiday planning?
Yeah, I think this holiday season is going to be a very, very interesting one. I think just don't forget that all the best practices that have existed over the past couple of years still remain true. So make sure that your signal is up to snuff, make sure that you're planning early and often. I think that's going to be a huge component to just making sure that your foundation is set up for success. But I think the other new development that's happening that people should be focused on is just thinking about who your shopper is today versus who it was a year ago. You're not only optimizing for the consumer, but you're also optimizing for the AI agents that consumers are using to help them discover what products they're actually looking to purchase. I don't think the human shopper is going away anytime soon, but we have to start thinking about that AI agent and making sure that our product data is set up in a way where it could actually scan all that in a way that's going to be effective for your business. I think just some stats that have been helpful for me to conceptualize how big of an opportunity this is. If we look at Cyber Week for 2025, so this is last year, AI influenced sales grew 22% year over year, while everything else just grew 3%. So businesses have to speak to both audiences at once, humans who shop with their hearts and AI assistant shoppers who use machine learning based off of your product data to better understand what the consumer is actually looking for. So I think that's the big change that we should be focused on as we look to the future.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. And I know at Kargo, we've always been focused on helping to improve the signal quality of our advertisers by incorporating all that first-party data into things like the product feed. And so we've seen how that product data has evolved from not just powering catalog ads to really powering the whole shopping ecosystem, from ads, messaging, and now agentic commerce. So Selena, how has your approach to product data management changed, and what impact have you seen when that data is unified in one place?
Good question. So for us, this product data has become really a very pivotal part of our marketing ecosystem. So overall, it's not just powering our catalog ads, but also helping Meta's AI, to your point, help better understand our products, what they are, what they contain, making sure that they're relevant for the user that is looking at our ads, and making sure that we're putting the right product in front of the right person. So overall, we focus on maintaining a unified, correct, and accurate product feed, as that's super important, making sure the pricing is correct, the titles are correct. That's very important to have the Meta's AI to understand exactly what product is being put in front of the audiences. So overall, the result has been better automation, more relevant product recommendations, and stronger personalization as well. So when Meta has stronger product signals, we're able to connect those right products with the right shoppers more efficiently and ultimately drive better conversion.
Awesome. And Ashton, what does the roadmap look like for how product data fuels the AI-driven shopping experiences on Meta?
Yeah, I think that's such a good question and such a good segue from how you just answered. I think one of the ways that we were looking at product data historically, there's all the fields like title, description, but the contextual data about your products is going to be more important now than ever before. So why is this item the thing that the shopper wants? I think an example that we gave in the past is like, sure, you have running shoes, but what if the consumer is actually searching, hey, I want running shoes that are waterproof for a hike in Bolivia? And that's a completely different set of context that we can use your product data and all the descriptions that you have to get the right product to the right person through the use of AI. So as I think of the future and as I think of how we should be planning going into this holiday season, there's the agentic transformation, which really takes advantage of these contextual signals that I just mentioned. So this is making catalog functions available for both first-party and third-party tools, either through the MCP or agentic functionality through commerce agents, whether they're ours or like other partners that folks are using. I would also take a look at your product catalog and make sure that all of the descriptions, all of the context within your catalog is AI native, because that's going to help us across different dividends. It's not just from the search function of like making sure the products come up, but it also helps the LLMs that power our discovering and ranking engines to make sure that your ads go to the right person at the right time. And then as we think of our system moving forward, we're taking a look at, we have a lot of success with catalog ads in our bread and butter verticals like e-commerce, but how can we use AI to expand into new verticals like travel, entertainment? They were harder in the past because shopping for tickets for a specific show takes a lot of context. Now that's unlocked for us. So we're looking to expand into different verticals, which will be really, really helpful for more folks out there.
Awesome. And yeah, the example with the running shoes I think is very interesting because you're going from just describing the item to really contextualizing it. After all, I think brands know the most about their products, and there's an opportunity to feed the algorithm even more scenarios where this is a great fit for the customer. So let's shift to creative a little bit. Selena, I have a question for you. But first, I just want to kind of set it up. I've seen some very impressive statistics about the usage of video or the experience of video on the Meta platform. So about 60% of time on Facebook and Instagram is spent on video. And ad sets with catalog product video sold 20% more conversions per dollar. So Selena, how are you thinking about scaling video first creative and also UGC content across your channels? What's been your approach to sourcing, producing, editing, and utilizing these type of formats?
So we have come a long way. I'm looking at my team over there. But we have come a long way. We never had enough video. It was always, we're short with assets, and I'm sure brands in here can relate. So there's so many things that we want to do, but not enough assets. So we took briefing much earlier. Our UGC now is much better than it ever has been. So overall, we've realized that consumers do respond to authentic product experiences, especially with beauty and skincare. There's so many videos out there, and you can just tell when it's an ad, right? So for us, we really want to make sure that we're putting those authentic videos in front of our audiences. So some of our best performing ads don't start as ads. They do start as that authentic consumer content. So what we have done is we build content with cross-channel use in mind, so Meta, of course, but also YouTube, CTV, TikTok, and continuously repurposing all of those top-performing UGCs into new formats and messaging. So one tactic that's worked particularly well for us is we identify organic creator content that's already out there, that's performing well, and then we secure usage rights, which of course is the hard part. And then we turn it into ads. So we already know that that video out there organically is doing so well, and our audiences are resonating with that type of content. So if it's resonating on an organic standpoint, then of course on the paid side, that'll hopefully do well. And we've seen that that tactic has worked really well for us. Those authentic reviews often outperform our more polished content because they do feel more relatable and trustworthy. We also do a lot of A/B testing creative with Meta to understand what resonates most with our audiences, and that's something that has really helped us. And especially ahead of peak season, we take all of our learnings and we really know, what works. What is it? Texture? Is it copy? Is it the backgrounds on the images? Like what works and what doesn't? Our consumers want to see the product in action, understand the benefits, hear real experiences, and that balance of authenticity from the brand and storytelling allows us to scale without sacrificing performance.
Amazing. Yeah, it's something we've heard a lot of now these days, is just the fact that how important it is to incorporate UGC into your, evergreen creative flow. So not just treating it as a separate thing over here, but really looking at it as another source and asset for performance creative. So how can you incorporate that authentic content into your regular full funnel strategy? Okay. So thank you. So let's talk about omnichannel. I know that we saw some stats earlier, but 80% of retail sales still happen in physical stores, with 58% of shoppers looking online first to discover and research these products. So Ashton, with omnichannel optimization driving lower cost per purchase, what do advertisers need to get right with the offline data in order to benefit from this?
Yeah,
campaign?
I think as we look at offline signal and the importance of that moving forward, it's going to be critical. I think the stat that I shared earlier was something like 80% of sales still happen in store, which is crazy. So we really do need to leverage your store as that massive revenue driver for your business moving forward, and making sure to partner with partners like Kargo or other partners that can help you with your CAPI for offline integration, integrating different signal like availability, inventory, what is the inventory for the store closest to you. This is critical to set you up for success for the holiday season. I just wanted to provide like a personal anecdote for something that I ran into a couple weeks ago. But I'm going to a wedding in a couple weeks, and I didn't realize that it was a black tie event. So I asked my AI agent, hey, I need a last-minute tux, figure it out for me. And given the fact that Macy's has personal styling appointments that's been integrated into their website, they have a strong selection of tuxedos. My AI agent was able to give me recommendations for the closest store nearest me, set up that actual personal styling appointment because Macy's had that already set up, and I was ready to go within 2 days of actually putting everything together. So it took like an experience where I was kind of panicked. I'm like, how am I going to do this in a couple of weeks? And it made it incredibly simple. So these are examples of how you guys have all this contextual data already within your system. It's really just setting it up and making sure that it's presented in a way in our system where the AI can read it. And from my perspective, I'm like a Macy's customer for life right now because that was so much easier than what the alternative would have been.
Amazing. Well, props to Macy's and their offline integration with Meta through Kargo. So thanks for that. I think
No, not intentional, by the way.
Well, they might be here, right? They're somewhere in the audience. I appreciate that. Great. But yeah, so obviously we've heard some compelling cases across omnichannel, but also just approaching creative in a more diversified way, and also how more diversified creative really helps the AI deliver the right message to the right audience. So Selena, with such a broad product range, from gifting to self-care, how is L'Occitane approaching creative diversification for the holidays?
So for holidays specifically, it's definitely hard to find the right thing, but what we have done is we tested a lot last year, as prior years we didn't have enough creative variety. As I was mentioning before, we were relying on a smaller set of assets. So with that being said, we really weren't able to test and learn with such limited creative. So what we've learned within this past year is holiday shoppers do have different motivations. So maybe I'm not just shopping for a gift. Maybe I am still shopping for myself, or maybe I am shopping for a gift, but maybe it's for my mom, or maybe it's for a friend. You know, people have different motives during that time. So we want to make sure that our creative reflects those different mindsets, those different budgets, those different sets of creative for different types of products, as we have so many different types of products. So overall, because of that, our creative library became a major focus for us. We kind of separated out our creative into different types of areas. For example, stocking stuffers, or gifts under 50 for people that don't have such a big budget for maybe a friend, and then gifts under 100 for someone that they want to spend a little bit more for, maybe their mom or someone a little bit closer to them. So we found that developing these separate creative themes around gifting, luxury, self-care, skincare, seasonal collections, and hero products has really helped us. And we're able to know kind of what works and what doesn't for each of our audiences, as it really differs depending on, you know, who's looking for what during that time. The more creative diversity we provide, the more opportunities we give Meta's AI to identify the right message, format, and product for each shopper. Ultimately, like I said before, it really is about putting the right asset in front of the right person at the right time.
Awesome. So I know L'Occitane also has such a beautiful, you know, and prestigious kind of brand around it. How do you balance that brand storytelling with making that performance assets or that more personalized creative?
So that's something that we've really changed in the past few years. So we don't view brand storytelling and performance marketing as competing priorities anymore. They work best together. So one of our biggest learnings has been moving away from that promo messaging. We really rarely go on sale. We have really just moved away from that and moved away from leading with promo, and that's definitely very scary to start with, but we just took it and we started. Instead, we focused on using our brand as the performance driver and making the story behind it and our products part of the selling point. Like, why are we so great? What is it that we're selling? It's not the promotion that we're selling our products, we're selling our ingredients. And I love L'Occitane, like I truly stand by it. And I think that's very important as a marketer as well, to stand by your products, to stand by the story, because that's really the selling point, and that's really what you're going to do as a part of your everyday life. You know, we have to lead with the actual products, the product heritage, the ingredient stories, and the sensory experience of the brand. So as shoppers move closer to purchase, we've been layering in more product-specific messaging, gifting solutions, and promotional offers when they come around. The goal is to build that long-term brand equity while still driving those measurable business results. So we learned that brand and performance aren't separate strategies anymore. The strongest performance often comes with leading from that great brand storytelling, and then the performance will come along after we make people fall in love with our brand for what it is.
Love that. Yeah, that's amazing. So one more kind of meaty question, and we'll kind of wrap up. But you know, just wanted to kind of have a final chance to talk about measurement. And you know, it's been called out as one of the top tension points for retail, especially when trying to master something like omnichannel. With 75% of retail media citing incrementality as a challenge, how are you approaching triangulation using either real-time attribution and lift testing or marketing mix models together? So Selena, what has been giving you the most confidence in your measurement with Meta?
So definitely not looking at a single source of truth. So when we look at a single source of truth, it's telling us one thing. But when we're doing multiple different types of tests across the board, it helps us align everything and know, hey, it's really working if we have multiple different types of testing in place. So for example, we use Meta's attribution for optimization, but also validate that performance through brand lift studies, conversion testing, and overall our business results as well. So we want to make sure that we have multiple things in place. One example also is creative performance. So we've noticed recently video and UGC consistently outperform static. And that wasn't the case 2 years ago. So that was very different for us as a brand. I've been with this brand for 4 years now, and it's completely different from where it was when I started. So overall, we've seen that UGC is outperforming static in GA and across our broader measurement framework as well. And when we see those same trends reflect across meta reporting, GA, and revenue growth, that's where we feel more confident knowing that we're really driving incremental growth and impact. And the more measurement methodologies tell the same story, the more confidence we have in the incrementality of our meta investment.
Awesome, thank you. So I know, Ashton, you mentioned a lot Q5 in your presentation. I've always still wondered that people don't talk about Q5 more. I guess it comes in and out of vogue, but I think it's always interesting how impressive and like a big opportunity this period is, just because it is so underinvested. And obviously this Q5 window, the post shipping holiday window where 23% CPMs kind of exist. Just to that point, Ashton, if you could recommend one thing that brands should kind of focus on to be better prepared for the holiday season, either before or after Q5, what would it be?
I think it's really invest in Q5, and I feel like a broken record here, so sorry for doing this over and over again. But this is such a critical and efficient driver of success for many brands out there. I think if you are a retailer, making sure that your inventory, your availability, all that syncing is up to snuff is absolutely critical. I can't tell you how many people, forget that the last ship date is usually December 16th or 18th, so they have to go to a store. And they want to actually understand, based off of ads, does this store actually have the item that I'm looking to shop for? Does it have the inventory? Is it available? Is the closest store near me the one that I need to go to, or is it a store that's a little bit farther down the road? So as you're thinking of this holiday season, number one, make sure that your CAPI for offline setup is set up for success, syncing correctly, has as real time as possible, syncing between our system and your inventory lists. And then number two is just don't forget to invest in this time period. The reason why the CPMs are so efficient is because no one's actually investing in this time period. So you don't want to be the people that miss out. I think this is like a huge opportunity for folks.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of brands that do like those countdowns to the end of the shipping period, or if you have the good local inventory integration, being able to shift it to local pickup. I think it's a smart way to stay on top of that. And Selena, what's the thing that you're most excited about that you have in the works for the holiday season, or what do you think brands should make sure to do?
I definitely say start working on your creative pipeline now. That's very important to start early. Holiday is before we know it. As we all know, time goes by so fast. I feel like this summit was 2 months from now, and here we are. But if brands can do one thing, I definitely say start focusing on your creative. AI has made media buying more efficient than ever, but I know that's something that we can't all control. However, creative is something that brands can still control. So I definitely think that's something very important. The brands that win during holiday are the ones that enter the season with a diverse library of video, UGC, gifting content, product-focused content, and messaging variations. So do not wait until October to start briefing creative and start getting that holiday content. Test early as well. Learn what resonates so that way you can enter the season with the right things in hand. And that was kind of how we started off, right? Like we have to make sure that we're testing, we're optimizing, we're learning ahead of that holiday season so that way you feel strong, you have all the right things in place, and when that holiday season comes around, you really are well equipped with the right assets. Overall, holiday success is not won during Black Friday week anymore, and we've seen it within the past few years. It's won in the months leading up to it by building that demand, feeding AI the better signals, and giving it great creative to work with. So the earlier you start, the more successful you will be.
And do you mind if I just
Please do.
plus one what Selena's saying? I feel like I've been like the product data guy this whole time, but I want to just say that what Selena's saying right now is so critical to think about your creative going to the holiday season, because not only are AI agents transforming how consumers are shopping, but how consumers are engaging on our platform is significantly different today than it was 2 years ago. Yep. I think the stat is about 60% of time spent on Facebook and Instagram is within the Reels format, which is natively video. So if you're not showing up with video in formats that are endemic towards those placements, then you're really not showing up with your best foot forward. I think it's probably a signal as to why we're seeing UGC content, specifically in those formats and placements, driving so much success. So as you're thinking about, the 10 weeks before the holiday season, like what you need to plan for, there's both the product data thing that I've been kind of harping on, but then even more importantly is just briefing those creative teams to make sure that you have enough video content to go into this holiday season so you can be as successful as possible.
That makes a lot of sense. The more time you have, the more you can be prepared for the unique needs creatively of each of the formats.
I'll add one more thing because I feel like I can talk about this forever. But as far as creative content goes, I really think it's so important to brief now, and A/B testing truly is the biggest opportunity to learn what works for your brand. And don't be afraid to keep trying, because for us, a lot of things haven't worked and don't work. And then the only way to know that is to test it and to really learn it. So for us, A/B testing happens all the time, weekly, monthly. Like we are always A/B testing because things change. So you always want to learn what works for the brand.
Yeah, I think it's important to take big swings as well. I think people get very obsessed with the, microvariant testing, which is important, but I think now even more so with the needs for creative diversification, take big swings and then narrow it from there.
Right.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Selena and Ashton, for joining me on stage.